Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Bean's Crafty Corner. And today I have kind of a use up project. So I had this, I don't know where it came from. I'm not sure. But it's like a whole, pack. I may have inherited it from somebody. But, it's pretty paper. And there was some other stuff that I also had with this. Let's see. There was some of this, and then there was some blue and purple. There's some tags and you know this stuff. It was like this. It was blue and purple, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? And this actually had some of it printed on cardstock. I'm going to not use that. But then there was this, which looks like it's from a different set. But, I was going through my drawer and I pulled some stuff out. Let's see, what is this? So this says that this is actually from G. Kerr. I don't know who this is from, but there's some more here. This is from G. Kerr. So I'm going to assume that maybe this is also from G. Kerr. I don't know. I have no idea where it came from, But, like I said, I had other pieces, and I was like, let me do something with this. So I came up with this, which is just, an envelope thing. And then there was this little piece in there, so I added that in. And there was this, and I just kind of glued it together and made a little thing out of it and stuck that in there. So it's just a little like tuck-in kind of thing, note paper kind of book thing, and I closed it up with a piece of string. So I thought, all right, well, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to use this one and an envelope. I'll be back with the complete list of supplies in just a second. Okay, so glue. A ruler could be helpful here, pencil, some scissors, paper trimmer, and envelope. Whatever paper you're going to use to cover this, which doesn't take a lot, so this is like great for leftover paper. Okay, and then on the original one, part of the digital that was available had like this writing paper, and this set does not. So I have this, which is just a brown color, a beige colored paper, and it's just a lined mini pad. So I thought we could use that for the inside. Okay, so I'm going to get some stuff out of the way, and let's pick what we want to use here. I'm thinking we'll use a piece of this on the inside. How about that on the outside? And I don't know. Maybe this for the, yeah, we'll use that. So we're going to use these pieces right here, and then we might use, maybe some of this. Who knows? So we're just using up paper here, so I'm going to be back in a second as soon as I get everything out of the way and get all these papers trimmed down, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all of the paper trimmed out. And then we're going to just kind of work with our envelope because we need to open this up. So all we're going to do is just take, you can use your scissors to do this, use your trimmer, whatever you want. We're just going to open it on both sides. Just a little teeny bit off of both sides just to open this up, okay? That's what we want. All right, so now you can add a piece of scrap paper here if you want to reinforce this. That is entirely up to you. I don't really see the reason, but if you want to, you could add a piece of scrap here. We'll do it just so that, it makes life a little easier. Let me see, what do I have over here that's scrap? Nope, not going to be big enough. Well, we'll have to find a piece of scrap. Usually just printer paper will work here just fine, okay? So I'm going to grab a piece of printer paper. That'll work. And I'm just going to kind of glue this on, okay? Now I'm going to put the glue on this part because if I put the glue on the paper, that could be a problem. So, and you can use whatever kind of glue you want here, okay? Alrighty, and then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it on here. And then I can trim this off, okay? Now, if I want, I can put paper on the other side too. It's entirely up to me. I don't see any reason to do it on both sides. All right? So, I'm just going to take that off so that it's easier to work with. I'm going to put this in my trimmer. Get a nice straight edge at the top points. And then this I can take off in my trimmer if I want, or you know, with my scissors, whichever works better. Okay, so now I have this nice big piece. I'm going to take a little bit more off here just because I'm going to be adding more paper and I want to be able to, you know, make this all work. Perfect. All right, so now I have my base. So the next part of this is covering the insides. So let's get this out of the way. So this is the piece that we said we were going to use on the inside. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by inking. So I'm going to ink all the way around my outside edge, including my new piece. Okay. And then I'm going to do my inside. So all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to do the inside. Now see these little pieces? If you need to, glue those down. Okay. Get those glued down just so that they're out of your way. That's not really important for structural, but just get them out of the way. All right, so ink outside, ink the inside, and I will see you back here in just a few minutes. So the next part is covering this, and this is my inside. So I want to cover this, I'm going to cover this, I'm going to cover this, basically everything. But the first part we're going to be covering is this part right here. And I want to leave a little bit of space on my folds, not a lot, but I don't want to say this is a measurement because I can't tell what size envelope you're going to be using. So we're going to do this the eyeball method. Okay, that is, I'm going to put the paper here, kind of where I want it, and then I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to put some lines on the back. All right, and that's where I'm going to do my cutting. So about like this. And about like this. Okay, so that should be the piece that I want. Since I have two parts, I can do two pieces and use this as my, you know, template. But I want to make sure that it is what I want first. So that is going to fit right there. I need to take a little bit more off the top. Not a lot. Just a little. All right, so I'm good like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as my template for the other side. And then this one, we're going to kind of adjust for this. Okay. So I'm giving myself a small gap here and about twice that gap up here. And then marking. Take that part off. That part off. And that is good for that. Yes? Yes. I'm going to do a little bit of a trim on this because it's not quite straight. Alright, so now that I have that, and basically what I have is I have one piece for here and I have one piece for here. So I'm going to cut these out of the other piece that I'm going to be using, which is this one. Okay? So, this is the outside, smaller piece, slightly larger. And I'm going to use these to make my template for this. Okay? There. Here. Let's cut this down. There. And here. Okay, so that's my outside and inside. And then this one, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of fit it on here. And trace. I know. This is not how we normally do things, and I apologize. But because I don't know what size your envelope is going to be, and not all envelopes are the same, and this distance is going to be different depending upon how much you took off to open it. You know, we don't know for sure. So this is the best way to do that, and kind of get it as close to perfect as possible. So now that that's all done, we're going to go ahead and ink all of these pieces. When we come back, we're going to put these down and then we'll talk about this. I'll be right back. Alright, so adhering these down, you can use whatever you want. I'm going to use glue, but you could use stick glue, you can use liquid glue, whatever you feel you need to use to do this, okay? I just like liquid glue because for me, it just gives better coverage and it lasts longer, okay? And I don't want to sit here and do this with a stick glue and then have people do that and then go, why did my project fall apart? Well, it probably fell apart because you used stick glue, because it's not the greatest stuff on the planet. I've tried many different ones. And for very lightweight stuff, they're good. But for something that you want to have that's long-term, not so great, okay? So I've got this one down, and I'm going to put this one down. And again, I'm just checking to make sure that this fits just inside the border here. And you know what? I think I didn't get really any ink there. Let me go ahead and do that again. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piece down, and then we're going to do the other side as well. And we're trimming and fitting as we go. This is one of those projects. But since we're using scrap, you know, stuff that we wouldn't otherwise use, it's okay. Have a blast. Cut it up. And that's really what this is, you know, to do, is to use up what you have on hand. And to make something pretty, you know. Try to keep your borders the same, top and bottom. Okay? And what we're looking to do is make sure that we don't interfere with that fold, okay? So we got that. Now we're going to flip this over, and we're flipping this way so that we keep our top at the top, and then we're going to be fitting these on. Let's see. That is that one, and this one is this one. But we want to make sure that they're right side up. So the writing's going in the right direction. That's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down, and then we'll glue down the other one, and then when I come back, we're going to talk about the flap. Okay, so getting all of these glued down, and then we'll be back to talk about the flap. I'll be back in just a second. All right, so in making the flap, we need to make the closure. See, we've got our little closure here. We want to be able to make this little closure. So I have like a 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch a couple of these out and glue them together because I want this to be, you know, relatively strong. So I'm just going to cut them out and then glue these together and kind of set them off to the side to let them dry. A little bit of ink. Now you can use any size you want here. I just happen to have this really small punch, so it makes it easy for me. But you can use any size you want, okay? And I mean, if you're using a huge envelope, that's going to look ridiculous on there anyway, so you'll want to get something bigger. All right, so now the next part is we need to get one of these because this is what we're going to use as our closure. Let's grab one of these little suckers. Okay. And we want to find the center of our flap, okay? So this needs to get covered first, all right? So now we've got those two pieces. We're going to set them over there. We have this piece, which is going to be on our flap. We want to cover the outside of our flap first. So, see, and I kind of like that look. So, I'm just going to make sure that that covers, and then I'm going to turn it over. And all I'm going to do is trace. Once I have my trace, I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to trace along here. Okay? This part is now going to be cut out, and I want it just a little bit shallow. So, when I put this in, I'm going to make sure that the line is just underneath here. Okay? And then I'm going to do this with my scissors. So, a little bit up, turn, come up to the edge. Turn, down. Okay, now I'm going to dry fit. And that's pretty good. I need a little bit taken off these points over here. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to glue this down, but first ink. Okay, so ink this, glue it down, and then we are going to put on our tie. Okay. So that's one part of flap. And of course we'll do the same thing for the other side. So, here we go. Getting that on there. Right. Alright, now we need our middle. The best way to find the middle is just take your ruler and put the same point on each side, which for me is about right there. So this is my center, and it gives me 1, 2, 3.5 on this side, 1, 2, 3.5 on that side, and then I'm going to put a small pencil mark right there, okay? Because that's where I'm going to put my hole. And I'm not going to use my hole punch for this because I don't want, you know, a huge hole. I just want one that's big enough to get these little prongs through. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a hole through this as well, about middle. Careful not to poke yourself. Okay, I'm going to put that in to that, just like that. Okay, and then we're putting that in there, and then we're going to open these up. Okay, and then before we cover this, we are going to protect this. So what I like to use is a piece of double-sided tape. Doesn't have to be very big. Preferably something that really covers this, you know, like that. When I go to put down my other piece, I will pull the tape backing off. So go ahead and do your inside piece and get it inked and get it put down, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we have, oh, get in there. Okay, we have our insides, we have our outsides, we have our flap. Look at how gorgeous, right? We have our little tie here, which you can't see on the back side. And we have our space. Now, on the original, I had that lined paper inside. Okay, so on the original, I had this lined paper that I could use, but I don't have that on this one. So I do have this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a piece of this and use my trimmer. We're going to take some off the top. I'm going to take this piece off because I don't want to look at that. And I think that should be just about the right size. It is. So I'm going to cut 2 of these for the inside. Right there. Let's see if we can get that straight. Not a straight line. Okay, there we go. And then take that part off. Okay. So now I can glue these down in here, and I can use the paragraph top if I want, or I can use just the writing lines, and I think I kind of just like the writing lines. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this in. Ooh, ink first. If you're an inker, ink first, then glue. And you could use anything in here. If you just want to put in plain paper, you can put in plain, you know, tea-dyed paper if that's what you want. So for me, I just like the lines because I think that it gives you an easier way of writing. And since this is supposed to be like a little, you know, little secret writing spot, I like the writing paper. All right, glue. Again, you can use tape here if you want. Glue. You could use your stick glue. This is very lightweight paper. I might use my stick glue because my bottle glue doesn't want to work. Let's make this work. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Tried to bite me. There we go. We got it. Let's see, perseverance will pay off. We will win. Okay, so one piece here. And one piece on the other side. Okay. Now, in the original one, like I said, I had some pieces that worked, you know, for this. I had this little pocket that was preset. I had these little writing papers. Well, I don't necessarily have that with this set, but we do have some pieces that we can work with. So we do have some of these. So let's make an envelope for her. I'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna make a little pocket for this, okay? And this piece is approximately 4 inches tall. I cut it with scissors, so I need to straighten it up a little bit. But it's about 4 inches tall and about 2 3/4 inches wide. So we're gonna go, 4.5 should do it. Let's see. Nope. 2 3/4. So we'll say 3. Okay. So 3. So 6. About 6.5. Just gonna give that a cut. And then height is 4. So we're gonna go about 4.5. So we've got 6.5 this way. And we want to go 4.5 this way. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go 5. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to use this to reinforce itself. Okay? So we'll get that out of the way. And I'm just going to fold this, and then I'm going to put it on my grid. I'm going to bring this over to 3 inches. Give me a little bit of an overlap. Okay, and then I'm going to fold up about 1/2 inch on the bottom. And about 1/2 inch at the top. Now I'm just eyeballing this, so pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to cut away these 4 outside squares. Okay. A little bit of wedge on these flaps. Okay, a little wedge here, And get rid of this. Okay. Now, this piece is going to be at my top, so I'm just going to glue this down because I'm using this to give it some stability. So this one I'm just going to glue down. Now, on this, I'm going to ink the rest. So I'm going to ink across the top. I'm going to ink down these folds. Across the bottom fold. Across this side. And if I'm going to make this kind of like a flop, you know, flip, then I'm going to want to ink one part of the back here. I don't want to ink that because it's going to interfere with my glue. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's put a finger notch up here. Let me grab a punch for that. What is that? Oh. I was going to say, that's a brand new punch. Why'd that get jammed up? Apparently there's a piece of ribbon in there. Let me get this unjammed. Yep, there was a ribbon in there. It's a brand new punch. Okay, so I've got my punch. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue this. So I'm going to start with the side that I did not ink. And I'm going to put that down just at the bottom. And then I'm going to put a line down this edge, a line on the outside edge, and then across the bottom here. And that's going to give me 2 points of contact for my glue down the back. Okay? I have a little bit of a there. Let me get that off. Okay. So now I have my little pocket. I'm going to go ahead and ink. Now I don't want that little spot right there. Somewhere here. Somewhere. Where's that little piece? I don't know. It has disappeared. So what I'm going to do is just take a piece of this. Just a piece of the scrap. And I'm just going to glue this in. To make that easy, I'm going to press it to the top, get it where I want it, and then push it to the back. That way you don't see, you know, re-ink this a little bit, re-ink the top of that. There we go. Okay, so now I have my little envelope, and this has got to go on here. So I'm going to nip this at the top, just a little, just enough to get that piece off of there. Okay. Yes. And then we're going to cut some off the bottom and off the side just to straighten this up because it is not straight. Wow, that was really out. Let's see. How did we do? We did wonderful. So, inking this, and then I'm going to glue it down, which is going to give me a little bit more stability, because remember, I'm working with just plain copy weight paper here. This is 20-pound copy paper. I can feel it. All right, so now I'm going to glue this on. Right, okay, so we have that, and then I want to put this in to my piece. and I just have to kind of decide where I want to put it. Do I want to put it on this side or this side? Where do I want to put it? I'm going to put it over here. So I'm just going to take a piece of this, which is just, you know, the copy paper, and I'm going to cut a strip of this that's about 1 inch. Doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, about 1 inch. Fold it in half. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You could use washi tape. You certainly could use washi tape if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to glue this down to this with a bit of a wedge. Right there. A little bit of a wedge. Let's check it. It's fabulous. It's going to go that way so that my fold is on the outside. Put the glue on the back, Dodo. Okay, and then I'm going to line this up to the edge. A little bit of ink, just to kind of hide that. And then we're going to put glue on this side. And decide where we're going to put this. I'm going to put it kind of in the middle. Right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down and give it a second to dry. Then I'm going to cut a journaling card for this. And I might make a paper clip, and we're going to be adding the string closure. So I'll be back in just a few minutes and we'll get all that done. Alright, so we got this, and I do want to add a paper clip, so I decided we're going to do one of the envelope ones. So I've got this about 6 inches by 2.5 inches, 2 inches, and I'm just going to start folding this up. On itself, and then I'm going to make kind of an envelope flap at the top. There's a whole video on this if you would like to see it. I will try to remember to link it somewhere on the video. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. It's not quite straight, so let me straighten this. I hate when things aren't straight. Okay. Now I can ink the inside of this if I want, or not. You know, it's entirely up to me. But let's see. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's better. I like that better. All right, and as always, we're going to use a paper clip for this on the outside. And then I have this little label. And a little piece of lace. So we're going to go ahead and put these on. Let me use a little 3-in-1 here, or Fabri-Tac, whichever you can get your hand on. So I'm just going to put that right there. And add this little piece of lace. And a little more Fabri-Tac. 3-in-1, whatever. There, okay. Alright, let's get this all glued in. Okay, and I'm going to trim this piece. There. And we're just going to let that dry for a second. I have this little piece here that I thought kind of worked, you know. So I think I'm going to put it on here, and just for a little more visual interest. Nothing spectacular. It goes this way. Just like that. Alrighty. And then we have to make a card for this. So I am just going to cut a piece that will fit in here. So I'm just going to kind of mark it and then cut that down, and then we'll add something to it, you know, to the front of it. Letting that dry. There. And there. Pretty good. I'm going to round corners. To have something that will fit on here. Yeah, I think we'll put the shoe. Why not? So we're gonna round the corners on this and then see how that looks. Or not. I keep forgetting I'm using copyweight paper here, so I have to back it up, you know? One, a two, a three, could we get it together here? There we go. That's being a pain in the behind. There we go. And we gotta get that last one. Ooh, we got this piece. Okay, right there. Alright, let's see how that does. Yep, it works. So, ink. Glue. And I'm going to put this in this corner. And then we're going to add some stuff. Ink. I'll put a little piece here. And I think add a little flour. Let me grab a flour. Right there. Okay, so we got that all done. And that's going to go in our pocket. And then the only thing left to do is to add our string. Close it up. So this is going to go in here. Hopefully it fits. If it doesn't, we'll trim. Let's see. That worked. Adding our paper clip at the top. And our string's the only thing that's left. I'm going to clean up the mess. I'll be right back. All right. So, to tie this off, I decided that I'm going to use some silk cord. I kind of like the gold. Let's see. Let's use the gold. All right, so this is a 3mm silk cord. You would use this typically for, like if you're going to do a corset binding on a book, or maybe you could use this if you waxed it. You could certainly use it to, you know, put in some papers in a journal, and just fabulous. It has a bunch of whole different kind of uses, and I'm lucky because I have every color of the rainbow over here. So I'm just going to take a piece of this, cut it off, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to tie like a little knot in this, but I'm not going to tighten it. I'm going to put it around my ring, and then tighten it down, nip off the end, and then wrap it around. Boop. There we go. And I'm just going to use that as a closure. Now, let me trim this back so it's out of the way. And, you know, I can do this once or I can do this twice. It doesn't matter. I can, you know, wrap it around as many times as I want. But there it is. And it just has, you know, it has a little flip with a tag, and then, you know, some writing space in here. And it's just cute. You've got a little sneaky writing space in your paper clip. And then you can just doop, wrap it around and wrap it up. That's it. I know. Took forever to do such a simple little project, but you know, it is a way to use up what you have left of a paper kit that maybe you bought a digital set of digitals and you didn't use all the pages. You could just add this, and you know, it takes 1, 2, 3 pages, maybe 4. So if you have some left over, this is a great way to use it. All right, check out my Ko-Fi, get some free digitals. Go on over to my Patreon. There's all kinds of stuff going on over there. You get all kinds of benefits from joining the Patreon. You can get a 7-day free trial if you would like. And what else? Check out my community tab. Go over to my Facebook group. There are links to everything in the description box below. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.